All right, welcome to the very first episode of God Weights and Fatherhood, hosted by yours truly, Ula Jordan Hartman. Thank you guys so much for joining today on the very first episode. I am quite honestly shocked that I'm here right now, even doing this, because if you would have asked me a month ago that I would be filming a podcast regarding God, weights, and fatherhood, I would have thought you're crazy. But, God is so good and his blessings are amazing. I have really found a passion for what I'm going to be talking about over the course of this podcast's journey, which are those three topics. God, of course, always number one. And I love lifting weights. I love training. That's what I'm all about, is making sure that I'm the best version of myself for my family and my children, which leads into the other topic of fatherhood. So we'll be discussing those three things on the podcast. They'll be fun. I'll be very open with you guys about myself, my experiences. Eventually, I will work myself into having guests on as well, to where we can all learn, grow as a community of brothers, um, not only mentally, but spiritually and physically as well. So today I wanted to start off the podcast with something a little, it's definitely going to be a little controversial, but like I said, I'm getting right into it and I'm being open with things. So we're going to talk about pornography and the effects that it has on your mind and why you should not be watching porn. So I want to read a verse from the Bible for you guys. I'm pulling it up right now as soon as this phone loads. I had it all pulled up. All right, there we go. So, in Matthew 5:28 says, "But I tell you, everyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart." So I'll say it again so I say it right. "But I tell you, everyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart." It says it right in the Bible, guys. You should not be looking at other women. And, you know, as a fellow, I'm a gym guy. I go to the gym. There's obviously times where there are women there that are dressed a certain way and you know, their butts are hanging out, their boobs are hanging out. And, of course I have to repent if I look. It's not right. I shouldn't be looking. But, the next step further beyond that, that is not acceptable, is watching pornography. When you pull out your phone, and trust me, I've been there, right? I'll give you guys a little bit of a background of my story. So I used to watch a lot of porn. Okay, I've let's see, it probably started when I was maybe in fifth grade, somewhere right around there, sixth grade. Guessing 20 years ago, right? Almost. So, but fifth, sixth grade, and up until a year ago, I was watching porn multiple times a week. And of course, it was simply a habit at that point, like how it is for a lot of you guys that are watching. It's just one of those things. You know how it is. Um, best best way I can describe it is you just get that feeling, right? Nobody's home, and you're like, oh, you walk in doing something, and it just pops into your mind. Oh, maybe I should pull out my phone and yeah, I feel like doing this. And then next thing you know, pull out your phone and scrolling through a bunch of videos, and when you find the right one, you do the deed. And so for me, that was obviously a part of my life from the time I was in fifth, sixth grade until a year ago. And a year ago, I decided that I was going to quit, and I was going to cold turkey it, and I wasn't going to watch porn, and I wasn't going to masturbate anymore. Um, and I can tell you, it has drastically changed my relationship with my wife and how I look at her. When you are sinning when you're looking at another woman in a lustful way like that, especially if it's a video and she's naked and doing things to please another man. Quite frankly, even though you're not cheating physically, you are cheating mentally with you're cheating mentally. That's what you're doing. Regardless of if you want to think of it that way or not, if you want to say, nah, dude, you're being a little too extreme here. I'm I don't think I'm being too extreme here. You're quite literally looking at another woman, pleasing somebody, and you're pleasing yourself to that. How is that not cheating mentally, at least? How is that not cheating on your wife? You're going behind her back and watching somebody else. That's cheating. And the when I started the journey of no longer watching porn, of course, with anything, when you quit, there are times where you want to stop or you want to keep going. You want to do it again, right? When somebody quits smoking cigarettes, there's a time where they want to hop on another cigarette, they want to smoke another one. When you quit everything, there's a battle. And I would get those urges. I would, the ones like I discussed earlier, you're walking or you're sitting down and nobody's home, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, hey, like, you know what? I feel like doing it. I would get those and I would have to fight the urge and say, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And what I can tell you happened was when I started looking at when we were my wife and I when we would go, we're about to do it. Um, there was a much stronger connection that I felt with her because the moment felt much more special. When you're constantly putting that stuff in front of your face, you become desensitized, just like how all these kids nowadays are playing Grand Theft Auto and they're shooting people like literally in a video game, and they're desensitized when that stuff happens in real life because they've so used to just seeing it. And oh yeah, I've seen that on my phone, I've seen that on my video game, I've shot people in a video game. What's the big deal if somebody gets shot in real life? It's when you desensitize yourself, real life experiences become less pleasurable. Now, obviously, don't take that the wrong way with the shooting thing, but what I'm referring to is seriously when looking at it from a pornography perspective to then the real life scenario, you will drastically improve the experience that you have with your wife when you've desensitized yourself from all the crazy stuff that's on the internet. And I've became closer with God through not watching pornography because I've had to pray to God to help me, give me strength to not feed into those lustful actions. So my relationship with God has gotten stronger because I have been able to pray to Him more and deepen my connection with Him through prayer, and also deepen my connection with my wife because now the experience of when we go to have our time, we it's much more special. I'm desensitized to all of that stuff. And I can tell you, um, you know, now I have zero urge to watch any of that stuff. Those urges, those temptations, those thoughts popping into my head that go to the bathroom real quick and do it, they're not there anymore. And here's the thing, I'm going to take this the next step further. As a father, everything that you do, everything that you do as a father, you have to picture your kids and your wife are watching you, whether they are or they aren't. You have to think about it like that. Whatever action you're about to do, they're watching. So you going to the bathroom and you pulling out your phone to watch other naked women beside your wife and for you to masturbate then to that, imagine if your kids saw that. Imagine if your wife saw that, right? What kind of example are you setting for them? What kind of actions are you committing? That's You're the leader of the household and you're leading them to those decisions. You're leading your son if you have a son. it's going to be okay for your son to do that? I don't think so. I mean, sure, my son will probably go through the same thing that all young men go through. They go through that phase, but I would like to think that I've set a good enough example for him and taught him that's not the way to go. That when he does get to that stage, it's a very short lasting stage, if any stage at all, right? So, as a father, you have to look at it even deeper than just your connection with God and your connection with your wife. It goes down to the kids. What example are you setting for your kids? So, pornography is the devil, and pornography is not something that should be acceptable to somebody who wants to develop themselves. If you're watching this video and you think that I sound ridiculous because, oh, I used to post funny gym content, oh, I used to make all sorts of jokes in the past and I was this way, so what, man? I was a gym comedian and I made a lot of stupid jokes in the past. And now all of a sudden I'm talking about God and it's like, what do I know? Right? Well, I'll tell you this, I've developed and I've grown as a man, and I am not that same guy anymore. Am I still funny? Am I still the same old me as far as, goofy dad and like, yeah, but I've developed as a man. And I've developed as a man by chucking bad habits and disgusting decisions like watching porn. You can't watch porn and be the best version of yourself. It's in one of those categories, right? Just like you can't be the best version of yourself if you're not jacked. The same goes for porn. If you're watching porn, you cannot be the best version of yourself. Straight up, it doesn't work that way. You need to eliminate porn from your life. You need to work out. You need to eat right. You need to work your absolute ass off to provide for your family, and you need to mentally, spiritually develop yourself with God in order for you to develop into this overall badass of a man who's going to lead your tribe, your family to that next level, because evolution is real. You want your family to develop as a bloodline. You want your family to evolve and get better each and every step of the way. You have to be the absolute best that you can be so that you teach your son to be the absolute best that he can be, and he beats you, and then his kids beat him, and then his kids beat him, and that's how you evolve and your bloodline survives. And that's how the species of humanity gets better. So enough of the porn. I'll pretty much just sum it up and close it out with, you cannot be the best version of you if you watch porn. It's as simple as that. It's the same as though you cannot be the best version of you if you do not work out. You cannot be the best version of you if you do not eat right. It falls into the same category. In order to develop yourself as a man and be the best man possible that you can be, porn has to be eliminated. Now, moving on, let's talk about chest day. So, moving on from porn, on to chest day. We check to make sure the thing's still recording and we're still good. Oh, yeah, we're still good, baby. We're still good. So, let me tell you about my chest workout today. I'll tell you this. I am absolutely loving the Smith machine incline bench press. Absolutely loving it. I've been doing it as my second exercise, or sort of first. So what I've been doing is I've been going to the gym. I've been warming up with dips. So just getting some dips in. I've really found that dips have been warming my shoulders. I used to have really bad shoulder pain. They've been really warming my shoulders up and really helping relieve pain when I do them first. So I've been warming up with dips, nothing crazy, like a couple sets of 20 reps, something like that. Opening everything up. And then I've been going to heavy incline Smith um, press, and it's been fantastic. I mean, today I hit what I had, two plates on and tens, and I was repping 10 to 12, just slow on the way down, up. The pump was just boom. I mean, I felt like a freaking animal. I'm not gonna lie, that was amazing. So, if if you guys are not doing that for your chest day, you need to do it. And I know there's gonna be some of you guys are out there like, oh, the Smith machine. Oh, he's using the Smith. That's not like really manly, bro. No, dude. Get yourself on the Smith machine and give that a go. I I've always had problems with doing incline movements because of the shoulder injury that I mentioned. Um, and doing it on the Smith has like really truly helped me. And I'm able to not have to come all the way up to the top. And I feel like my injury was coming because I was coming all the way up to the top. And it's like that top portion of the movement that was like hurting something in my shoulder. But when I'm on the incline and I'm on the Smith, I can control it enough to where I can still flex my chest at full contraction, but I don't have to like tweak my shoulder and pop out. Maybe I'm sure. But absolutely love it. If you guys have not been having that in your chest routine, throw that in there. And then the trick is you do that, then you do dumbbell. I do flat. Then you do dumbbell. Really, really go. I mean, you're going to be fried after doing it, after doing the incline Smith, but do dumbbell. Flat is what I prefer, and pump out high reps, right? Just boom, 15, 20 reps. Go as heavy as you can for those 15 to 20. It should still be heavy. Don't go light and do 15, 20. You go heavy, 15, 20, and then finish off with dips. This has been the nastiest chest routine that I've been doing. When I'm done, my entire chest feels pumped because dips really hit the lower, flat really hit the lower and middle, and then incline really hit the top. I used to have a really weak chest. It's still not my strongest point. Now my arms are just by far my weakest points. I'm probably gonna get roasted already in the comments for my forearms and stuff. I've been working on them. All right, I've been working on the forearms. I've been working on the arms. They've always been the tough part for me to grow. But the second toughest part for me to grow, besides my calves, was always my chest. And ever since I really started focusing on this routine, man, I've been seeing a lot of chest gains, and I absolutely love it. So, um, drop a comment below. Drop a comment below. What is your favorite chest exercise? I'm curious to see what your guys is as well. Um, Another thing too that I wanted to talk about regarding chest, when I don't know what it is, but there's something so primal about a chest day. I the feeling that I get when I'm at the gym and I have a gnarly chest pump is like it really, arms and chest are the two where like you just feel primal. Like you're just walking around there just like, oh, I'm a freaking savage today. Um and it's just so interesting how our bodies, how our minds work, how human beings are, and why we are the way that we are. Even though we're so civilized now, at the end of the day, we still are an animal, and it's so interesting how chest day and like I said, arm day brings that animal out of us. I find it very fascinating. So I don't know if anybody else finds that fascinating, but I sure as hell do. So another thing too, these podcasts, I want to keep them. I don't want to go on for an hour. I want to try to. I'm going to try to post one podcast every single day for the next month. I'm going to shoot for every day. And my goal with it is for them to be 15 to 20 minutes quick. I just want to cover a Bible, a verse, a topic of how to become a better man of God. I want to talk about the workout that I had that day. And then lastly, I want to talk about fatherhood, um, and what I've been doing to work on myself as a father, and hopefully that will help some of you guys out there as well. So the last topic that I wanted to touch on is my son, and you know and my daughter and what I've been doing to try to better myself to set a better example for them. So, kids do as you do, your kids will not do as you say. And that's one of the most valuable lessons that I've learned is kids will do what you do, they will not do what you say. So you have to, this goes back to the pornography thing. You have to picture that they're watching everything that you do. Everything that you do, they are watching. And you have to be able to take a step back and, if you want to lash out in anger, if you want to, cuss out somebody on the road because they cut you off, if you want to uh, get angry and yell at your wife, whatever it is, they're watching. Anything negative. You want to go to the bathroom and watch porn like we talked about earlier, they're going to see you walk to that bathroom if they're home. And even if they're not home, you have to picture yourself. You have to picture they are watching, and that'll stop you from making bad decisions. So, one thing that I've been really doing is, my son is he is on the spectrum. He's mild. He is on the spectrum, and he has been very difficult lately. Um, you know, very, very, very difficult lately as far as he has not been wanting to listen to directions. So, you know, he likes to edit videos, right? He loves to edit videos. I wonder who he gets that from. Right, they'll do as you do, not as you say. Perfect example. My son loves to edit videos and make animations, and we've been having a really hard time getting him off of the device. It's a fight. When he is making a movie or making one of his animations, it's a fight. I'll say, Jackson, I need to take the phone, or Jackson, it's time for you to get off the computer. And there was literally a screaming, no, you're not taking it away. Ah, I hate you. Ah, he's been very difficult lately. And something that I have, in the past, when he starts yelling and he gets angry, I get louder, I get angrier, and I lash out at him and tell him this is why he needs to do, this is why he needs to listen to me, give me the device. And I get extremely enraged and I take it out on him. And something that I've been doing, and I've really been doing this, obviously for bettering myself, bettering how I parent my son, but also I have a daughter as well. And I'll touch on that in a second. So, um, what I've been doing is staying calm, taking my breaths, and expressing to him how I feel and why he has to hop off that device. So I used to say, Jackson, you need to get off the phone. Jackson, you need to get off the computer. Give me it, you're done. He'd freak out. We'd have our match. Now I say, Jackson, I understand that you're making your video. I understand that you've put a lot of time into this. But Jackson, it is time to hop off the device. So let's save it and let's continue it another day, please. Or let's continue it later, please. You need to take a break. In doing this, I've not only expressed to him why we need to take the device away, but I've also expressed to him in a very calm and understanding way. I'm telling him to put his device away in an understanding way. I'm understanding with him. I understand you're making your video right now. I understand you've worked very hard on this. But however, it is time to put this away and we continue this another day, or we continue this later in the day. Depends on the situation, right? And in doing this, he's been able to accept the fact that it is time to put it away. And it's been a much less volatile experience for us to go through when I'm able to present my words properly to him and tell him why, give him a reason. This is why. Um, I think you need a break. You've been on it for too long, or it's time for dinner. I give him the why, and it allows his brain to process and go, okay, Dad, I understand why you need me to put this away. And therefore, he closes the device, he hands it back, and we proceed with what is next dinner, time to go to bed, whatever it is, right? Now, in doing so, this is why I want to touch on the daughter thing. In doing this, not only has this helped my relationship with my son because we're not yelling at each other all the time, we're not volatile with each other, but also I am now showing my daughter what kind of a man she should look for when she's older and she goes and gets married one day. Because let's face it, we us as men, us as fathers, we don't want to think one day our daughter is going to get married. We don't want to think that because we want to protect and hold on to our daughter. But the reality is, one day she's going to find a man. One day she's going to marry a man. One day it will happen. And the man that you are and the man that raised her, which is you, is who she's going to seek. That's just how human, that's nature. That's how it works. She's going to look for a guy just like you. And if you're volatile and if you're yelling and if you're lashing out and you're not a developed man, you're not properly expressing what needs to be done and why, and understanding with your children why things need to be done, and then executing on what needs to go down next, she's gonna go find a man one day that's gonna be the same. And do you want your daughter to be with somebody who's yelling, volatile, who's right now? I come from old school, right? I'm very old school, in the sense of, obviously sometimes, you know kids need to understand, hey, we don't mess around here. This is how things go. Like, don't mess with dad, don't mess with mom. Like, there obviously has to be that figure there, which is why physically I'm that way. I come off that way if I need to, right? Now, if my son were to backlash how an understanding way of me presenting it, that's when I'm able to use my scary man, not by yelling, but my physical nature of, hey, son, it's time we hop off of this device. Okay? We're hopping off this device. I understand you're working on it. Repeat, I understand you are working on your video. However, it's time that we eat dinner. So I'm telling you, we're going to put this away. Rather than smacking him upside the head and stuff like that, that's up for debate. That's if he takes it the next step further. And you want to be a good example for your daughter and what she should look for in a man. And so I've taken it upon myself to really use my language and use my skills, to use my communication skills to express to my son how I want, when I need to take something away. This is why, I understand, but this is why it's going to happen, and this is what we're going to go do instead. Um, I'm trying to set that example for my daughter, and I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over again. But forgive me, this is my first podcast. I appreciate you if you're still watching all the way to this point. Um, but overall, to sum it up, I been really working on that, and it has been helping. And I truly believe that it is also showing my daughter what sort of man she should be looking after or looking for, seeking when she is older. A good, godly man who treats his family with respect, treats his family right, is a leader, is a true leader. That's who I want my daughter to end up with. So I'm trying to be everything in that and better. so that she finds that one day herself, and so that my son one day becomes that for the future of our bloodline. So, guys, I am gonna wrap it up here. I don't want the podcast to be much longer than 20 minutes, but I appreciate you guys all watching this very first edition with me. Comment below what your thoughts are, and if you want to work with me one on one to develop your mindset, develop your physique, and become that next level father for your children, that next level man of God, I will be attaching a link in the bio for you to apply to work with me one on one. We'll go through your situation and we will work together to develop you and grow you into the best version you can be for not only yourself, but for your family as well. So, guys, thank you so much for watching this podcast. I should grab last thing real quick. We got one other sponsor. We got one other sponsor. If you guys use code OLE, OLE, at Legion Supplements, you get 20% off your first order as well. And yeah, I've been using the Performance Surge before training, and the recharge has been great. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, subscribe, comment below what I could do better, how I could be better, how I could be of best service to you guys and help in any way, shape, or form. So God bless. Enjoy the rest of your day.